Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the HVAC Merger and Acquisition podcast. On this podcast, we're talking about how to prepare your HVAC company to get the best price and best terms when you sell. Also, how to acquire HVAC companies and how to merge HVAC companies. And so today we're going to talk about how to sell your HVAC company twice. Yes, you heard that right. How do you sell your HVAC company, the same HVAC company? How do you sell it two times? And how do you benefit by both? And you'll find that there's certain investors out there that are looking to help you do that, right? So you have to know what to look for, and you have to be able to ask the right questions. But ultimately, an investor may be interested in buying a percentage of your company, a majority percentage of your company, and allowing you to take the remaining equity and roll that over into a much larger portfolio. So let's say it's an investor, and let's say they own several HVAC companies, right? And if you've watched some of the previous content, you'll know that as your profit increases, your industry multiple increases. And what that means is the valuation of your company is typically dependent on an industry multiple. So let's say your profit level in your business, your EBITDA is $500,000 and the industry multiple is a 3. That would be 3 times $500,000. So your business would be worth 1.5 million. But if your business jumps from 500,000 to a million, right? It's no longer a 3. The industry multiple may be a 4 or a 5. So you take that million, multiply it by 4 or 5. Now your profit only went up $500,000, but your multiple went up. So instead of 3 times $1 million, it's gonna be 4 or 5. So let's just take 5 for example. So now your business went up $500,000. It was worth 1.5 million. Now it's worth 5 million, but it only went up $500,000, right? So back to what we were talking about earlier. So let's say they buy a percentage of your company at a 3x, right? A multiple of a 3, and they roll a percentage of the equity into their larger portfolio, which is a much higher profitability. They're rolling that percentage of equity into their portfolio. Their combined portfolio has a much higher multiple because of the higher profit level. Now you get to benefit from that higher profit level because that equity they rolled over is part of a much bigger portfolio. So now you sold, let's say, a percentage of your business at a 3, but now the multiple that you're going to sell it at the second time, that percentage that's left over is much higher. So sometimes you may roll over a small percentage, but it'll be equivalent to the larger percentage you sold the first time, just because the multiple is higher, because it's not a 3 anymore. Maybe it's a 4 or 5, maybe it's a 10, depending on how many companies they have on their portfolio. So that's one way you can sell your company twice. So have that conversation when you're talking to investors, potential buyers, about can you roll over equity into their portfolio, because they may be looking to sell their portfolio in a couple years. So you only have to wait a couple years and you end up selling your company again. So obviously that there's a lot of benefit to that. So have that in the back of your mind. Yeah, stay tuned for future episodes of the HVAC Mergers and Acquisition podcast.